All right, as you can see, I don't have control of my classroom because
And FD.
Oh my god.
Now we're racing.
That looks like
Excellent.
You can't do both.
you guys are on film.
Oh, that's Abby's last name. Abby Patel.
There you are.
Let me write.
Well, I'm right.
Hold on. Okay.
We just look at the palm tree.
Wait for the
Let me
camera.
draw my tree really fast.
That is not.
That's my tree.
All right, get out of here. All right. Sheesh. So how did we do? How did you feel off this? This was 5B, is that correct? Page 7980. Let's go through these. Okay, so let's review real quick some things. This was called standard form. Let's just quick review. And this allowed us to find where it crossed the x-axis and the y-axis by doing the cover method, right? Right? And where it crosses the x-axis, where it crosses the y-axis is an actual point. So you just don't give me a value. And then we started talking about if we were to solve this for y, we'd get this, which is called slope intercept. So slope intercept is what intercept?
Y
The x or the y?
plus b.
Yeah, the slope intercept is this, and that's where it crosses the y-axis. So this is the point 0, comma, b, right? And then you use the slope, and we talked about the slope. The slope is the rise over the run. It's the change in y over the change in x. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. There's all kinds of different ways to represent it, correct? Okay, so these first couple problems, let's see. I have the slope of the y-intercept that's given. I have b and the slope given. Slope and goes through a point. Slope goes through a point. Slope goes through a point. Slope goes through a point. And that's just the front page. So let's work on these, see how we do. So problem number 1, we have xy axes, and they tell us we have a slope of 2, and we have a y-intercept, so that's our b value, of -7. Okay, so the y-intercept is a point. How do I make that a point? How do I make that b value a point?
You count down -7 in the y.
Yeah, there we go. So this is a point, just like that, yes?
Yes.
Which means this is going to come down here. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And you put a dot right on the y-axis. So then I use the slope. The slope is not necessarily, it's not a point, it's like a map to find another point. So the slope to this could be represented as 2 over 1. So that means from this point, starting from this point, I'm going to go up 1, 2, and right 1. Connect the dots, and we're all done.
That's smart.
Okay? So slope is m. M is, they call it the letter M because it was developed in Sweden, which has to deal with mountains. But the slope also could be thought of as a map. Okay? You have one point. Any point given on a linear equation, the slope will find a second point. So it's a kind of a map. Problem number 2, we have this, and they give us our b value of 4 and an m of -5. So how do I make my b value a point? 0, comma 4. So we're going to plot 0, comma 4. So 0, comma 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that all right?
I did that one.
So this, I'm going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and to the right 1. Connect the points. Could you find that point? Do you think, if you had nice grid paper and you were counting up and down, do you think you could find that actual point? Heck yeah. All right. Number 3. We have a slope of 3 over 5. And it goes through a point 0, -2. So that happens to be the y-intercept. So 0, -2 is down here. Yes? And how do I use the slope to get to a second point? Up 3, 1, 2, and 3, and over 5. Put the dot, connect the dots, and we're good. Makes sense? What's that?
How do you do with the fraction again?
That's my rise, that's my run.
Oh yeah.
Did you watch yesterday's video?
No. But I will. Don't worry.
Question I saw?
I would say like plotter wires. There's like 3/4. Like.
Oh, so if he had something that's like 3/4, it would be like, here. And that's going to be a different, that'd be a different way of thinking through it. Do we have one that's a fraction? Look, that's usually harder to actually plot. You can get an estimate of what the graph looks like, but we'll get there. All right. So this happens to be the y-intercept again, but they're just giving it to us as a point, 0, 3. And from this point, I'm going to go down 4 and over 7. Seem okay? Number 5 goes through this point and has a slope that's 0. I know it's a straight line, but what kind of straight line is it? With a slope of 0. A horizontal line. Good. So I'm going to plot the point first. So I have -5 and up 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? So it's right there. And this is a horizontal line. So it goes right through. It should go right through that point right there. Okay? Vertical line, they tell you that it's an undefined slope. So you plot whatever the point is, which I imagine that could be coming up, number 6. We have a slope of 2/3, and it goes through this point. Okay, so now this is a little different, because it's not going through the y-intercept, right? But the y-intercept is a point. So I'm going to plot the point 3, 4 first. So from that point, I'm going to go up 2. Good. And I'm going to go right 3. Put that. Connect the dots. Do we necessarily know exactly where this is going to go across the y-intercept? No. Okay? I mean, there's ways we could determine it, but as far as what we've drawn, it crosses the y-axis somewhere in here. Okay? And granted, I'm freehanding it. Is there any questions about that front page?
Wait, so for number 4, you have -4 over 7. Would the 7 be -2?
I would move the negative. So that's a great question. If I had this, where does the negative go? You need to pick. You can either go here, or it can go here. So this would be down and right, and this would be up and left, and it would be this get to the same location. So it doesn't. So if you were to go, let's say you have a point here, and you were to go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and right 7, or if you were to go up 4 and over 7. No, let's pretend I can draw really good. This is the line I was looking at. That's what it would do. So it maps to 2 different locations, but it's still the same line. Does that help you? Okay, backside. Number 7, we okay? All right, number 7, we have slope -1, and it goes through this point. So again, it's not going through the y-axis. So let's plot that point. So 9, 4. Is that all right? And then 4 up. So what does that slope mean?
Down 1 and
Down
over
1
1.
over 1.
So from this point, I'm going to go down 1 and right 1. That's it.
Wait, Mr. Stroh.
Yeah.
Will we have like a grid on that for test?
Yeah, I will make sure we have a grid on there. These were supposed to, but our photocopy people at District didn't do a nice enough job for you, and I apologize. Number 8. Slope is undefined. So remember, undefined is a 0 with a 1 through it, like that. And it goes through this point. So let's plot our point first. So I'm going to plot my point. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 6. Undefined slope means it's a straight line, but what kind of straight line? It's a vertical straight line.
I did that right. Wait, what? I didn't do that right. Now horizontal.
Oh, then you, okay. ST, remember this. Undefined slope, vertical line. Undefined starts with a U, vertical starts with a V. U and V are right next to each other in the alphabet. Quit trying to take away from my
That sounds way better.
Alright. I didn't know we had songs.
It's not a song, it's a rhyming.
Alright. Alright. What is my slope of this particular equation? 3/4. If it's y equals whatever's attached to the m is our slope. What is our y-intercept, our b value?
-3.
-3. And how do I make that a point?
3 is -3.
0, -3. Okay? And then we have a graph. So 0, -3 is down here. Right? And what do I do to get to my second point? Go up 3 over 4.
That gives you this one. That was rhyming.
Number 10. Number 10, we have 4 minus 5 over 3x is equal to y. Slope. Y-intercept. Alright, so some of you might feel better if this is flipped over
Yes.
and put into order. Why is that a +4?
Because it's a negative slope of 5/3.
Yeah, and there's a positive sign there. So do all those signs match up now?
Yes.
Make sense? So sometimes it's easier to flip the whole thing over to get things appropriate. What's my slope up here?
-5.
-5/3. What's my y-intercept? 4. So I'm going to use the point 0.4. Good. We good so far?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so let's plot 0.4. Who's my whistler?
Abby.
All right, what am I going to do from this point? What am I going to do from that point? What am I doing?
Go down 5 over 3.
Down 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and over 3.
Left 3.
It's to the right 3.
Why would it be right?
So it goes down, because that's my only negative part, and right.
Like, I thought the whole thing was negative.
The whole thing is negative, but you have to assign the negative either to the top or to the bottom. If it's assigned to the top, you go down and right. If it's assigned to the bottom, you go up and left.
It's still gonna come out with the same.
Same thing, same exact. So watch. If I had this, I go up 5, left 3.
So it still makes a line.
So see how those are all? Let's see if I can do this. Kind of like that.
That was a good line.
Oh man, I got lucky. Didn't have the shakes this morning or something. Maybe not enough coffee. That's possible. Are we good so far? Number 11, ready to go?
Yep.
Here we are. Number 11. Number 11. So y equals 2 over 5x. Slope, which is m, is equal to, and then the y-intercept, which is b. Okay, what's my slope?
Undefined.
2/5.
2 over 5. Good.
Oh,
I said
Okay, does that make sense? What's my y-intercept?
0.
0. So what's the point?
0, 0.
Which is called the what?
Origin.
The origin.
Put that down.
Okay? So plot 0, 0, so it's happening at the origin.
Just kidding, I'm good.
I'm going to go up 2 over 5.
Why does my Y keep being, why is it so much different?
Don't know.
Put a hole in. She put a hole in.
She did a what?
It's a horizontal line.
Can you see your error?
No. Because I did the slope and the Y didn't see the slope.
I do not see your error.
Yeah. There was no slope. You were in Oh.
But now I know how to graph it.
I see my error.
I'm happy for you.
That was a bad 10.
All right. So let's go ahead and pass those forward. Make sure your name's on those. If you're passing any other assignments forward, that'd be awesome as well.
You put the slow down.
Oh my god, you actually walked up and did
Yeah,
right?
You what's that? What?
Forgot to.
Mark? I didn't mark you. So sorry.
Give me a second.
Are we gonna have like a day in math where we're gonna use food as like a form of math?
Oh, never
We
mind.
did already because you brought the ice cream.
Okay, but like
You said it too soon. You said it too soon.
Ice cream sandwiches are always good, and they're less messy. Though I like the bottle of chocolate, you guys know that.
are we gonna do probability? Because then we could have like different colored Skittles and be
So
like,
the probability that I do ice cream day again is 50-50.
no, it's like when I get a lot of red Skittles and just like you think like, oh,
Yeah,
I
ice
mean
cream
like.
Thursday, come on, we should
I'm
do
gonna put
that
white
again.
on
can't do
If
it.
you want to bring it Thursday, I'm totally fine with that. Thursday is be
We
awesome.
can't.
Wait, what? Oh,
It's a PSATs.
Yeah,
All right.
I would say we're all
So-
Wait, what time does the day end? Thursday.
All right. Settle down. Bring it back. Bring it back. All right. So, a couple questions have come up. Thursday.
How do we know classroom we're in?
Well, do you think I might explain?
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Okay. All right. So Thursday. That's National College Readiness Day, something like that. So there are certain types of tests. So we have stuff for freshmen, sophomore, and juniors.
They're really soft.
Okay? Seniors have the opportunity to investigate colleges. Got it? So, let's see what we have on our site.
It was the ACT expired.
Okay. ACT Inspire, you think?
Yes, they do.
Let's take a look.
We just agreed to that.
What'd I do?
I said, is it on the computer? Or is it
Oh, I'm on the computer.
Huh?
It's not on the computer.
You did. Your fault. I see a solution.
All right. So, click in here. All right. College Readiness Day, October 13th, right? Come on. All right. Okay. So 2017. Let's see. This is test date information. Click here for information on College Readiness Day. Woo! I understand. We have some sophomores too. All right. So Thursday, 9th grade students, Thursday, October 13th, will take the ACT Aspire. So this gives you a preview of the ACT. Okay?
Wait, do we get to go to school late or leave early?
You will leave early. We'll have the rest of the schedule here. Okay, so if you're in 10th grade, we have the pre-ACT. 11th grade has the practice ACT. And seniors have postgraduate information.
I can't take a test.
Okay? So,
7, 10, and 12.
so guys and girls, this would not be non-stop testing. Yes?
It's good.
You know, this is actually one not to opt out of. That
It's really.
I mean, you always have the choice to opt out, and I'm not the person to ask for that. You have to go to Mr. McDavid.
Does
He's
it
an
hurt
assistant
you?
principal.
No, does it hurt you if like?
It does nothing hurt me. No.
Oh, like hurt me.
Hurt
Yeah,
you?
I'm actually
It's
gonna
helpful
mark.
to take it.
So here is my whole thought. Do I think that all testing's good? No. Okay, I don't. But here is something to think about. Okay? I understand that the whole opt-out thing, it's a big movement in this school, which is great. Okay? I'm not for or against it. I'm not saying that I support it, nor am I against it at all. If you choose to opt out, I am not the person to let know. You have to go to our assistant principal, Mr. McDavid. You got to have your parents contact him. Figure it out where he's at. I don't have all his information with me. So if you're going to opt out, great. Now, with the opt-out thoughts, okay, there are tests that are on your transcripts, your official transcripts. So these are some things for you to think about, okay? If I am a prospective college that you want to go to, and I have 1,000 slots available for incoming people, and I get 10,000 applications, still with me in this conversation?
Yes.
There is no way that I would be able to sit there and go, okay, let's figure out of these 10,000 applications, what's my top 1,000 people? Okay? I'm not going to make those many phone calls. What I'm basically going to do is I'm going to take a snapshot of what is available for me right away, and then I'm going to move on from there. So think about this. Things that might stick out to a prospective college or university. GPA. Make sense? They're taking a look at the classes you took. Hey, this kid got a 4.0. Sweet. But he took, I don't even understand these classes. He took painting the gravel white. The hell is that? He took clay and what it tastes like. Okay. He took I can't breathe underwater. Okay, you know what? This person might not come to my school. I'm going to put that, that's a pretty easy one to put aside. Without going much further than GPA and what students took. Now, next student. Oh, this is another 4.0 student. Okay. Oh, they took Algebra, CP Algebra 1. They took this. They did really well. Great. Okay. So I'm going to put this in the maybe pile. Here comes the next kid. 1.1 GPA. No. Next kid. I mean, and I'm just trying to show you how a college person would go through, because just because you apply to college doesn't mean you get in. My med class said it's a 6 o'clock in the morning class. 88 kids in there. Who wants to be a doctor? 88 hands go up. Guess what? Not all 88 are going to be doctors. When I ask them at the end of the semester, how many of you still want to be a doctor? It's going to be a lot less than 88. Why? Because they're going to have some little bit more choices and realizations of what they could do and what they're willing to do. When they hear from my cardiovascular surgeon that says, okay, undergrad, 4 years, med school, 4 years, 4 years, internship, 4 years, fellowship. So 16 years from now, you could. And the kids will look at that going, 16 more years of schooling? Wait a minute, that physician assistant that you had, They went to undergrad and then they had 2 years. That's 6. I'm there. That nursing degree. So those are some things. So you become more and more aware. Now, my point is on that college recruiter or that college person who's enrolling people in school. Now they've created the pile of these are my maybes. Okay. Now we have 2,000 of these, and I can eliminate it down to half because I can only take 1,000. Okay, this took all the testing. Great, they did great on testing. Person didn't do so well on testing. No. Or didn't take testing. No. Parents opted them out. No. Yes.
It does?
Yes. Any test you take will go on your transcript. So I just want you to be aware. Now, it's not a bad thing that you have testing on a transcript. If you are showing somebody that I am opting out of this, they need to make a decision on you based on less information. So those are just some things to really think about. And don't I'm not saying this because it affects me in any way, shape, or form, whether you take it or not. I'm just trying to give you a perspective. Now, one last thing to think about. I was hired for a job many years ago at Chaparral High School when Douglas County was really doing well. When Douglas County was competing with Cherry Creek schools, okay? When they hired me, there was 70 resumes that came in for my position. So I outdid the 70 or 69 other people to get the job. What kind of things did they look for? So basically, jobs were applied for. The district would email the principal secretary and say, here is all of the resumes that have come in. So the principal secretary, before she would even print them, would go through them quickly. And she'd be like, oh, misspelled word, delete. Okay? Think about that. Could that person who had a misspelled word been the best teacher on earth?
Yes.
It's very possible. But you know what? They never knew how good that teacher might have been because they had a misspelled word. Resume, 6 pages, delete.
Whoa.
Resume needs to be at most 2 pages. Okay? Could that person with 6-page resume been just unbelievable? Uh-huh. They didn't even make the paper screening because they didn't understand the basic protocol of how to apply for a job. Okay? So that is information that literally Chaparral High School, Ron Peterson was the principal, wasn't going like, oh, sweet, we have 70 applications for this one position. Let's interview all 70 people. Each interview is about an hour and a half long. We'll be well into the summer where we figure out who the heck we're hiring. Okay? They're going to take those 70, they're going to wheedle it down to about 10. Then they're going to give those 10 applications down to the math department and say, pick your top 3. So those 70 resumes get wheedled down to 10. The principal secretary didn't go through. Now, what happens here at Cherry Creek High School? Same exact thing. Okay, a teacher applies to be in this school. There is a lot of resumes. Okay? What this school basically does is says, okay, here's the experience. Where did they go to college? What kind of degrees do they have? Oh, they didn't fall under that protocol? Trash. Does somebody, let's say somebody had been a graduate of a not so great college or university. Does that mean they're not a not so great teacher? No, they could be an unbelievable teacher. But there are certain criteria that are being set to accept or deny. So you might want to think about why roll the dice your freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior year on, oh, I don't have to take this because this is the political movement taking place. Okay? That's a very strong thing for me to think about for you all to know. Ram, what do you have?
Okay. So what is the ACT over this test? What subject is it over?
Go look. Look it up. Just go look it up.
What's it going to be on? How is it going to say it on our transcript? Like, hey, this person got an
That's not going to say that.
Aspire,
The beautiful thing about any type of standardized test is this. Ready? You guys are in pretty good shape when it comes to this. This is called a bell curve. Still with me in this story? Okay, which means the test is a normalized test. So you, as well as the rest of the ninth graders, let's just use the ninth graders because the majority in here, will take this test throughout the entire United States. Okay? Do you think Cherry Creek High School and Cherry Creek School District has done a nice job of educating you up to this point?
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? They have. We're one of the top. First off, we're the top school district in the state, and this school is one of the top high schools in the state. Okay? So, are there freshmen that are smarter than you? Yes. Okay? That's okay. So what they're going to do is, right in the middle of this, they have an average score. It's also called the median because it's a normalized test. Then you have something called the standard deviation. So within one standard deviation of your average, 68% of your population will fall. If you have a negative score, that means you fell to the left of the average. If you have a positive score, it means you fell to the right. Then you have a second standard deviation. It goes out either way. And this talks about 95% of your population falls within there. If you go one more standard deviation out to the left, you're talking about 99.8% of your population falls. Okay? So, things that you should know. This is all ninth graders throughout the United States. Okay? So let's say a 41% is an average score on this test throughout the United States. Let's say we have a standard deviation of 5. Okay? So let's say you got a 47, means you're here. That's good as far as the population that took it. Stephen?
When I was in 3rd grade,
Oh,
I
jeez.
scored 99 percentile in science.
What happened?
What?
Is that bad?
Give you a hard
No,
time.
that's like the best.
So no, well, yeah. So if you scored, Stephen, this is what that means. If you scored in the 99th percentile, I don't have to do this within standard deviations. I can create this into 100 little iterations, which means you scored way over here, which meant 1% of the population that took it did better than you.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. Okay? And then you can take this down even further. There's breaking it to 99.9 or 99.5, 99.9, and then there's the 99.99%, which that's called no, you can't get 100% as far as the population goes.
Really?
Okay? No, you can't. It means there's a smaller thing. Yeah.
So when you take the test, are you allowed to like have mints?
Mints?
Yeah.
Sure, stick some in your pocket.
It helps you focus.
Okay, I'm with you. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you're not getting 100%. So 99th percentile means you scored better than 99% of the population that took the test. It does not mean you got 100% or 99% on it. It means you scored better than that percent of people that took it. So let's say there was 1,000 people that took this test and Stephen says he got in the 99th percentile. 10 people did better than him. Does that make sense? That's where it falls into. Okay? So it doesn't mean you got a perfect paper, nor does it mean you got a 99% on that test. It just means he did better than 99% of the population.
So you know like the average before you take the test?
No, they have to renorm it each year.
So this
You can
sounds
look at past years and start looking at trends, and the average shifts a little bit, and the standard deviation shifts a little bit each year. What attributes to the average and standard deviation fluctuating each year? Chance, luck, coincidence.
So this is what it's gonna look like on the
Now, what it'll look like on the things that you get is going to be like a bar graph like this. And it's going to be like, you fell into this. That's how the state represents the information back to you.
So if we have like a math test on it, is it gonna be like for like this class like CP Algebra 1 or like?
The Aspire goes probably through Calc. But they know that. How many freshmen do you know in this school that are in calc? I know about 70 of 1,000. Yes. Okay. So are those kids in higher level classes? Yes. Is that okay? Yes.
But then doesn't that mean
It's
our
real
score-
life.
That means our score is gonna
There's-
go down.
Okay. Entire United States. You with me?
Yes.
I will tell you there are some really dumb schools out there and there's some really dumb states out there. You're okay.
That's not okay.
Look, when I taught in Nevada, I taught Core A math
What's that?
to high school kids, and I had kids that were juniors. So the first 9 weeks, add, subtract, multiply, and divide whole numbers.
No, no.
Wow.
Wait, really?
Second 9 weeks,
Fraction.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Fractions.
Wait, are you kidding?
No, no,
Third
no,
9
hold on.
weeks. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Decimals. Fourth 9 weeks.
God had all A's.
Mix numbers. Guys and girls, this was a school with 1,300 kids. Much smaller than this. I had 5 sections. I had 150 students. Bless you. That were there. Okay? These kids are going to take the same test as you here.
Well, yeah, but.
No, 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 no.
Shut up, Esty.
Esty, you are not the smartest student in this school. I hate to break it to you.
I
No, but I'm just trying to point that out to you.
I know,
But you're comparing to everybody in the United States at the top school in the state. You're fine. Okay? Do the best you can.
Wait, what do you think the average
What are we
gonna
supposed to study?
Just take your knowledge that you already have. You'll do fine. All right. Due tomorrow is worksheet. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Worksheet. Worksheet 6. Worksheet number 6, which is just one page, page 81.
Mr. Sheriff,
Yeah.
so are we gonna have class on Thursday?
No,
Alright,
you're
so
out of
do I
school
turn-
like at 12:30.
Yeah, so do I turn in,
Friday.
Friday? Alright.
Okay?
Ooh, semester start up.